Hey, everybody, it's Josh here, and I just wanted to take a quick minute before the show gets started to just tell everyone that's listening, thank you. Any way, in any manner in which you consume this, whether it's downloading, listening on YouTube, liking our Instagram posts, following us on there, going to the website and clicking it, however that mechanism is that you choose to consume the content that we produce, I just wanted to say thanks. And on behalf of myself, obviously, and everyone here at Game Rage, we all thank you, because knowing that you're out there and you're listening, and if we can just entertain one person, then really that makes all the blood, sweat, tears, everything we put into this worth it. And I know I'm sounding like a martyr right now, but I just wanted to show our appreciation, I suppose. And also to, just remind everyone to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, and to follow us on Twitter and X or /X at Game Rage Mag, and to also visit our website, www.gameragemagazine.com. And again, thank you from everyone here and myself at Game Rage. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for listening. Welcome to the Game Rage Music Show.
Am I starting this off?
Oh, I can start it off if you want.
Well, shit. I mean, this is your shit, dude.
Oh, all right.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, pretty much everything you've been doing is, Game Rage. All Game Rage related things is Josh. So I don't know if you wanted to be the host of this shit. Then
well, that's fine. Well, you're the music guy, but here I'll start it off, and then you can take it from there.
Fuck,
all right. Well,
cool.
Hey everybody, welcome to the episode 2 of the Game Rage Music Podcast, and I'm doing exactly what Adam was fucking bitching about earlier with the white people on the fucking on the YouTube.
I told you, man.
Hey, welcome to our channel. Subscribe. Hey, would everybody please do this? Follow us on Instagram.
Like, comment, subscribe.
I didn't say like, comment, subscribe, though. But anyways, we're here for episode number 2. And today, I think it's as Adam has dubbed and invented this new term, Jaco-Watch. It's Jaco-Watch 2023.
Yeah. So as there's been quite a few developments that have been happening. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is breaking news. So. A while, just to recap you, if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, there's been an artist that I have been extremely interested in as far as music goes, and her name is Jacotene. She was an artist that I heard about through this thing called Triple J Unearthed, which is kind of dedicated to discovering like local new artists in Australia, and certainly Jacotene fit that description, as she is one. She's an artist from Melbourne, currently going to, I don't know, I imagine some high school. I can't remember the name of it. It's like Sea of the Star or Star of the Sea College or something like that. So I don't know how school works out there. If it's just all one thing. So
is she, just not to like interrupt you, but is is that high school, or is she like in college?
That's what I don't know. I don't know if like high school and college, like it's like a transitional type of thing. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not really sure.
But she's 16.
She's 17.
17-ish.
Now,
Okay. All right.
So when she got discovered, it was like 16.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so she made this submission to this thing called Triple J Unearthed High, which is, I think the contest was kind of catered towards high school students. And so she was one of them, and she ended up winning the contest. And then there was something else that happened with Triple J itself, which is the radio station to be heard on in terms of Australia.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
It's like they're like out
K-Rock
here,
or KEXP or some other radio station. But anyway, so I've been covering this from day fucking one. Like, it was 1:30 in the evening, 1:30 in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the morning, that I came across this post. I heard her demo that she released, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And I just, ever since that, I've been following this girl.
When you first found her, how many followers would you say she had?
Either somewhere around like 700 or 800 followers.
Okay.
I don't know if she was doing TikTok at that time, so I don't know what her following is. Yeah, maybe it was just like somewhere around the same ballpark, but it's somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. So then that's when the interesting parties started to come in. There was the guy, so another notable artist in Australia is this guy named Genesis Wusu, who's like a superstar at this point. Mm-hmm. His manager, Andrew Klippel, somebody that's, I gotta say, the dude's very cool. Like, I reached out to that dude because I wanted the set list from Genesis Owusu's performance at the Roxy, as I thought it was like a historical moment. I guess, like in my personal opinion, it was, because this guy is just like a really creative artist, and I haven't really found somebody like him. And I'm like, I gotta have something from this night. So
yeah,
he was cool enough to arrange that. Like, he just had me speak to the day-to-day manager, which is this woman named Maddie Smith, and she was extremely helpful. So shout outs to Ourness Management for being just a top notch, like, fucking management group.
Nice.
And again, getting back to Andrew Klippel, this dude is, got a world class artist with him with Genesis Owusu, and now he's looking for other talent. So not more than 15 or 30 minutes after the fact that I was following Jacotene, did I see the name Andrew Klippel come up on Jacotene's page. So I was like, oh, this guy's making moves. But you start putting things together.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, 4 months. Actually, I can't predict when this person got involved or what happened. But I follow this other dude named the Benessons, and his actual name is Ben Locke, and he does A&R and marketing for Sony Music itself. So I don't know at what point he started following Jacotene. It had to been between, I don't think it was in August. I don't think it was in September. So it must have been somewhere between October and December that this guy heard her voice and like hopped on.
Jumped on the Jaco train.
Yeah, the Jaco train, as one would put it. So there, pretty much from that point on, there was no news about her releasing music. It was just her making reels and TikToks of covers of songs that she really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then, it started coming out that she'd be asked to performing. She'd asked to be, oh my God, I'm like, I can't English. But she would go and perform at like local festivals within Australia.
Okay.
I can't tell you which specific ones they were. And then she went to the UK, and I can't remember the name of that festival. I want to say it was called Laneway Festival, but I'm not entirely sure. But she went to the UK, and there's this promoter or this brand called It's a School Night.
Okay.
And I didn't know they had a UK presence there. They're more known here locally in Los Angeles or Southern California, and they kind of do the same thing. They promote like local art, well, not local artists, but like newer artists, like they do showcases and stuff. And Jacotene appeared at that. I'm like, oh fuck, that's kind of like a big deal, because that means if she comes to Los Angeles, then that means that It's a School Night is going to host her here in Los Angeles. But there was other things that were starting to add up. Like more recently, in the past 2 or 3 months, she made it known that she didn't say who it was, but she said she signed a record and publishing deal. And I'm like, that sounds interesting. And I don't know. What I came to find out in recent news is that she released a song. It's called You Already Know, and a lot of things have been happening, but the main thing that I discovered is that when this song debuted, I screen capped it with my phone, and when I posted it as a story, that 15 seconds, like 17 minutes later, I got a content claim or something from Sony Music Entertainment, and two or 3 days before, I reached out to somebody music related, a music chum, I guess you could say, and told him like, hey, I think this girl's signed to Sony Music. There's just like some weird stuff happening, and it came out to be true. or at least I had my suspicions about
Right,
it.
yeah.
And that was one confirmation. And then when the song actually released, I checked the song credits, and at the very bottom it says released under, or like, I don't know what.
Yeah, whatever their copyright should be.
Whatever their thing is,
Yeah.
it says Epic Records UK. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because then if she was in the UK, that means that she was there possibly doing, I don't know, if maybe recordings or whatever it might be. But anyways, Epic Records is something that is owned by Sony Music Entertainment itself. And Sony Music is the third largest record label, along with Universal and Warner Music Group. So there's like the big three right there.
Yeah. Okay.
So the reason that it's interesting that she signed to Sony Music is because they are known as the biggest publishers as far as like the entire world goes.
Yeah.
So for like publishers, they collect on your royalties, whether that's mechanical, that's like the composition of the song, I guess you could say, like the writing and the all that stuff. And the performance is obviously like them singing and performing the song itself. So it makes sense, in my opinion, it makes sense that this girl, as talented as I believe she is, that she's signed to Sony, because why would you work with any other big, like you want to go with the big game, you go with them.
Yeah.
The thing I don't know is that she's been recording music with this studio called Noise Recordings, and they're based in Australia. So I don't know if she has her record deal with Sony itself, like she's recording music with their budget.
Yeah.
And is doing the publishing, because it makes sense, right? Like it would be those two things, because they want everything they can have.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
They want everything under one roof. So that's the thing I don't know, is that if she just has the publishing deal, or she has the recording and publishing deal done through Sony. And it might make sense that it's both, because if you analyze her social media, the videos and photos that she's taking are very high quality, and even the equipment, like the behind the scenes, when you see glimpses of like the equipment that she's using, the cameras, like the lighting and all that shit, like that, it doesn't look cheap. Like it doesn't look like something amateurish, or and even if somebody paid for that stuff, like, I mean, you kind of have an idea of like when somebody's putting some money
behind her.
Yeah. And the other interesting discovery that I found in this past week is that she did a 3-song set for Triple J at, I think, this place called the Sydney Opera House. And it was like a Triple J event. And in the second song that she performed, she had a sample from this group called Toots and the Maytals. And they're kind of like big in the rock steady, reggae, dub, like all that stuff.
Okay.
That whole spectrum of sound, right? So you as a person kind of get the idea that, I mean, if you look into things, if you got a sample of that song, it's not going to be cheap to use it. Like if you were an artist and you're like, oh, I want to use, I don't know, look, I want to use a song from James Brown.
Okay.
Well, you got to go to the rights holder of that song for the masters to say, like, I want to use this song. I just want like a 5-second clip of this specific thing. Like, you got to clear a lot of things. Like, one, you got to have money to pay for the thing.
Yeah.
Two, I think the people that own the rights to a song or the masters, I think they want the use of it to be used tastefully. Like, it's not just going to be some stupid fucking thing. Like,
Yeah.
And third, it's got to be a deal that's going to work out for all parties. Like if there's going to be royalties involved, well, I'm sure they want them, like the person that's the right holder is going to want the money in addition to some of the royalties, because they are technically, they are making a small contribution to the song. So they got to work out that too. So I already think that because of that, like she has money behind her in that regard as well. Cause that's something you have to like account for in a budget. So anyways, she released her song. Before she had released her song, she had 400 Spotify followers. Okay. In 2 days. So this was, the start of it was Tuesday when I played her or debuted her song on Heady FM. By then she had 1,600 followers. And then,
goddamn.
let me look at the exact numbers.
So she had basically doubled the amount of followers that she had now. What?
1,600. Let's see. Okay, then she quadrupled, and I think this was the day after, so this was last Friday. Her audience grew to 4,495. So when from Thursday to Friday, it quadrupled, and then from Friday to Saturday, her audience got to 19,000.
God damn!
And then from from Saturday to Sunday, she went up to 28,000.
Fuck.
Yeah,
It's just blowing up, man.
yeah. So wait till, and I don't know if I could say this, but I have gotten involved with this. I reached out to Jared, who's like I think her producer or something, and I don't know if he's her manager as well, but I reached out to this dude. I just told him like, hey, I'm a really big fan of Jacotene, and I want to help in any way I can. And there's somebody else that I know he can help you
Right.
get her music in U.S. markets, like specifically here in Southern California. So I wrote an email and included the other person who is going to be debuting her single tomorrow. And let's just say that there's a lot of things lining up for her to be aired. Let's say for the next for the next week, but yeah, dude, I just I don't know what else to say. This is literally like doing a case study on like a phenomena. Maybe it's just a human being, but like as far as being an artist goes, like this is I'm taking this like as homework for myself to observe an artist, I guess.
Yeah. So when you had said about how they copyright claimed you or whatever on Instagram, because I remember we were doing that, and it still played here.
Yeah.
So does that mean that they don't have a deal set up for her here yet, or it's like they only have it set up for like Australia and maybe like the UK or something?
That's what I don't know, because I'm not that well versed in publishers, but I imagine like, because basically when you're an artist, like you get publishing for the country that you're in, right?
Like
For here in the US, if you were an artist, you get publishing for here in the US, but in order to collect royalties in say India or even like China or whatever, like you have to go through another publisher
in that local area.
Yeah, and it's either that they work directly with fucking Sony, like,
right,
or that they are a subsidiary of Sony itself. So like they collect those royalties on behalf of that thing. And I don't know how that works. Like I don't know if that content claim or whatever it was that I got from Instagram itself, if that is just that's just something within the Instagram system that Sony has some kind of mechanism that allows them to detect whenever their music's played, and they're just giving me a warning to say that's you can't play that,
right?
And then like if I continue to do that, like they just insist on Sony, or not Sony, on Instagram to take down anything. But as far as like what you're talking about, like I said, I'm not entirely sure if she has a publishing deal that just goes worldwide,
right?
Like I don't know about that, so I can't,
because Sony is a worldwide global thing. So you would think, I mean, that they would have some. If they felt like,
but the holes you're poking in, like the fact that it's only in some countries,
right? That's
is strange.
That is weird, because if they had a global deal with her, you would think, okay, they would have told Instagram, hey. Or not the Matrix, what is it? The algorithm would have picked it, because that's probably what it is, right? Yeah. If the algorithm would have picked it up and it would have said, okay, cool, you can't play this anywhere, because it specifically said it may be, your post may be unavailable in some regions, and like I said, we tried it here and it worked just fine. So obviously it's not here that they have that. And then you would think, I mean, it just in my opinion at least, if they were behind her all the way, obviously they're behind her monetarily, at least locally in Australia and the UK and those kind of areas. So they're putting their money kind of behind her a little bit, but maybe they're not super bought in yet all the way of thinking that maybe she's viable globally as an artist. Maybe they think that, oh, maybe we'll put in some money now and see how this does locally, and then if it blows up, oh cool, TBD, we'll do this later. We'll throw in the rest of it at another time. But then, I mean, that leaves the opportunity for her to be like, well, maybe you guys pissed me off, or maybe this happened, and fuck it, I'm gonna go somewhere else for the US deal.
The only counter argument I could say to that is that it does feel as though they've already thrown enough
more than enough at
her, just because, as I was saying before, when it comes to the content that she's been posting on social media, it looks like the video, like the quality of the videos that she's posting,
gone up.
It's gone up, dude. Like it's there's no denying it.
Do you think that's probably because they obviously want to project like an image of her, so they want her to look more polished and more refined, as opposed to just using your fucking cell phone?
I think they're
shit?
trying to I don't know if they're the word expedite is the correct one, but I think they recognize what's happening with her is that she has an extraordinary voice, like so much so that they're trying to put her on the fast track for her to be like a profitable artist.
Yeah,
and
right.
I feel like it's still going to take some time, but certainly like the groundwork has been laid.
Right.
And to further add to like her legitimacy, and I don't know if this means anything. It's just like one of those accolades that you keep adding to your fucking, like you're adding another feather to your cap, right?
Yeah.
So in addition to all the followers and even the streams have gone from like 2,000 to 20 or 30,000 within the last like.
Damn.
So it's going very quickly, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that raises an eyebrow, I guess you could say, is that Friday. I don't know if Friday is the day when songs get added to playlists, but by Friday, from Tuesday to Friday, she was already placed on 4 Spotify playlists. One of them being called Everyday Songs, meaning that this is music that should be played on an everyday basis.
Right.
Meaning that these songs would be popular enough in theory that everybody would listen
Enjoy
to
them.
them.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, that was kind of like,
I mean, that is interesting that they would choose to place it on there
without that large of a following. Like, granted, she had 1,600 followers, and then also the streams were a little on the lower side. But as soon as she got fucking placed on 4 of those,
it just went up.
It just went fucking up.
And so, and that's because okay, let's just imagine if she was still quote unquote independent, right? Probably she would have never got on that playlist at all. But because obviously the machine is behind her now, essentially with Sony,
that's
influence.
That's what one would question, right? Is that
Yeah.
Is the fact that she signed that expedite the whole process of, because what Spotify does is like you send a submission for a song and they look at your profile and they're like, okay, he's got his banner, like a decent photo, you got a profile bio for people to look at, do you have your links in order for people to be directed to your social media and all that shit. All right, how many releases do you have? I think they also account for I think the Spotify algorithm also accounts for like social media presence. So it's like if you're not doing the work, like they're also not gonna go out of their way to.
Yeah.
But these playlists specifically, I think, are editorial ones. So like the Spotify editors are the ones that curate those playlists or adjust them. So I think they also account for that as well.
Well, do you think that they would just, obviously, if Sony's behind her and someone from Sony contacts Spotify and says, hey, we got this new artist, we want you to put it on these fucking playlists, do you think they would just do it?
It's possible. I mean, I can't outright say that's the case, but there has been scenarios where I think record labels will inflate numbers of artists with like,
I mean, that makes sense.
like bots and stuff, and like, and I'm not calling her growth like illegitimate, because even on social media, like her on her own accounts has, like on TikTok, she's probably done pretty decent for herself. But there have been cases before where artists inflate their numbers, or, you know, like Spotify is a platform that needs to make money. So why wouldn't they want to get the most out of something, whether that's like a developing artist that they want to expedite for popularity so that they can get more subscriptions for their service. Like it just kind of, I don't know. I can't fully believe like the point that you bring up about but there's a real possibility that like Sony itself could encourage, give the little
Well,
give a little nudge.
Give a little grease to the wheels there
Yeah.
and make it kind of happen quicker.
Yeah, so there's that. I think you definitely raise a valid point, and certainly the one about the publishing not being ubiquitous across all countries and stuff. Like
Right.
that's certainly something that's it's not concerning, but it certainly like makes you think.
It does make you think, and it does make me think that they're not bought in, or at least Sony's not bought in on the fact that maybe that she would do well everywhere, and that's why they're like, well, we're going to put in some money, and then we're going to see how this goes, like I said, locally, and then if it turns out, okay, she's doing well here, let's toss this out over here. Well, let's also make a deal, because they're going to make a deal here before they do any of that stuff, obviously.
I feel like she well, I shouldn't say feeling like that. My speculation is that whatever deal she has to be a fucking pretty good one, especially since she's 17 and as I said before, an extraordinary talent. I would consider her a once in a generation talent, speaking for myself, that I think she might have had